Jesus Christ, this video was some of the worst pandering that I've seen all year. And I'm not talking about Felicia Day, but the guy who made it. Felicia Day makes some kind of hacky marketing video, and he proceeds to project all kinds of shit onto it that had nothing to do with it. And the comment section is predictably full of, yeah, fuck this bitch. This thread, too, is just a regurgitation of all the points people made when she wrote her retarded blog. What a lame circle jerk.
Ooh, nobody gives a shit.
It's 2016, and by that logic, it's time to buy Dead or Alive Extreme 3 for the PlayStation 4 or PlayStation Vita. New features include tan lines, revolutionary ass physics, and swimsuits that are a little too tight. Are you a gigantic Puritan retard or devoid of taste? Well, feel free to check out the other media and merchandise offered by Play Asia. Either way, click that motherfucking link! Dead or Alive Extreme 3. I'm going to shill this game like a friend of mine made it. Link in the description. So I'm currently in the middle of doing research for a video that I plan on making covering Will Ripley, a journalist working for CNN that lives in Japan and reports on salacious and sensationalist bullshit happening across Asia. While searching around online, I remembered a previous interaction that I had early on in 2015 with another so-called journalist. I had a rather unproductive back and forth with Seattle journalist John Humbert, who was looking to cover Gamergate. The summary of that interaction, which as I said was unproductive, ultimately comes down to the fact that for whatever reason, when you speak to a journalist about straightforward things, their brains seem to turn into fucking goo. Although with the smallest amount of research, you can find rather predictable circumstances as to why certain people become so fucking dense when it comes to understanding why some other people do not want derivative Marxist horseshit criticism targeting them or their hobbies. Regardless of that, I think the original commentary that I made responding to John remains relevant even now and will be important to keep in mind when I eventually upload the video covering Will Ripley. So enjoy the commentary for what it is, and remember that no one cares about your fucking morality. John Humbert got in contact with me on social media, and I prefer to do commentaries in one take. I did one, and then after he comes to me with this fucking reasonableness, now I have to re-record it, because if I don't re-record it and I put up the original, I look like an asshole. So, thanks, John, for being so reasonable and forcing me to re-record this. But your position is frustrating, because the language that you use, the sort of passive, fair-minded reasonableness, that sort of attitude that you're taking in this, is very much the same in which the press, the gaming press, has taken over the years. The only stake that I have in this is a personal one as a gamer, as a consumer, because the gaming press doesn't at all represent the consumer. The only person they represent is the elite core of press that want to dictate to the community what they should believe, what they should find problematic or an issue, or misogynist, or whatever. What the gaming press does not like, they believe that gamers in turn should also agree with them and say they don't like. And if they don't, then the gaming press will surround them and demonize them, call them basement dwellers, call them misogynists, or call them whatever, you know, anything that you can think of. I mean, I'm sure Sargon has linked you to the articles, or someone has linked you to the articles that, and none of these are new, right? Like, the ones that came out last August were just a fucking sample, man. This has been going on for years. The gaming press have been railing against the consumer base for years. Gamergate is just it was just the inevitable outcome of demonizing a community to a point where they would not take it anymore. And I consider myself among those people that just don't want to fucking hear it anymore, don't want to be insulted anymore, don't want to be told what to like, what to feel bad about liking, and everything in between. I don't like to be dictated to. I doubt very many people like to be dictated to either. And you have to understand that your reasonableness is a farce to most of us gamers, because we see that attitude as this progressive standard. They have said the exact same things over the years, but they turn around and then use their status within the industry to manipulate games, to change games.
go after devs, go after individuals in the suits working for companies and say, essentially, if you include this in your games, we're not going to give you a positive score. We're going to knock points off your final score, which is going to cost you money because the Metacritic is going to be lower, and the developers' bonuses are tied to that in a lot of instances. And if it's lower than a certain amount, there goes your fucking bonus. There goes your money. So we're going to come after you economically. We're going to take money out of your fucking hands if you don't do what we tell you to do. Divinity Original Sin was one of them, where they changed one of the outfits of one of the protagonists because someone didn't like it. Someone said, oh, this is terrible. You can see your midriff. Get rid of it. And the artist did it. The artist was forced to change it. And you might see that and you may not care, or you might see that and you say, I agree with this, and I'm speaking to you specifically, John. But as a person that kickstarted that game, who helped fund, I was an investor. I care. It's my game. I invested in it. I'm going to buy it. It appeals to me. It appeals to my demographic. I don't want anyone outside of it changing it for arbitrary reasons because they think it's sexist that a woman has a midriff. It is ridiculous that anyone can say to me or anybody else what should appeal to us. And I'm going to add an addendum here that it was an addendum from my previous commentary. It's more vitriolic and animated. I'm going to include it here. There's an anime that I like, and it's called Yuri Yuri. It is a slice-of-life show that is funny. It's humorous. There's suggestive parts of it. There's love triangles. There's parts of it that involve romance. It's a funny show. I really enjoy it. You can see this and say, I have no idea what this is. I find this disturbing. I find this appalling. I find it offensive even. And my nieces and nephews shouldn't watch this. Well, no one's fucking asking them to watch it. I watch it. It's something I like. I don't care if you don't like it. If your family doesn't like it, everyone you work with doesn't like it, it's none of their fucking business. It's something I like. I watch. So why do you think that you need to speak for me in terms of gaming, in terms of other things? Why do you speak for others when who are you? Why are you speaking for other demographics? Stop. Stop speaking for other people unless they're specifically asking, and where the fuck are they? Why can't they speak for themselves? Why are you having to speak for them? I got to tell you, John, that this, even as an addendum to this already long and ranting commentary, you are frustrating. You offend me because you are trying to look at things that I enjoy, whether it's this anime show that I'm using as another example or gaming, and telling me that this thing that I like is wrong. But you know better than I do. You know better than the person that created it. You know better. And I'm going to say it to you, even though I get to this eventually in my commentary, then start making games. Start funding games. Start involving yourself in the games making process. Otherwise, stop speaking for other people. Speak for yourself. That's the only person you fucking represent, dude. Yourself. You're not a fucking politician. You don't have a constituency. Speak for yourself. There are many ways in which that I can approach this issue and say specifically why what you've said has offended me. But you have to understand, man, that the people that are the feminists in this, right? Because there are feminists that write for these news outlets that are tied with this, that are tied with the sort of culture war that's happening with Gamergate. They specifically say one thing, do another. And they have no principles. You might have principles. You might have things that you'd say, this is totally something I would never do because this would break my own set of principles or sense of morality, what have you. These people have none. They have no principle. They have nothing. They will only say and do whatever it takes to get what they want. And they'll do it. And they get it sometimes. They actually get they get art changed, they get characters changed, they get elements of games and franchises changed, and they never yield. They are relentless in pursuing these things. And when things are changed, they don't care. They dismiss it. They move on to the next thing. They move on to the next thing to push of what they want to see changed. They don't actively want to pursue some form of competition. They don't want to compete in this already stacked market. And it's because these people are devoid of ambition and creative talent. They can't program, they can't draw. They can't actually animate things. They have no fucking talent. These people are bloggers. And they're not you, man. They're not an actual journalist working for an outlet. They're fucking bloggers. They have no fucking talent. There's no ethics standard that they care about. They've never been to any school and got a diploma in journalism or broadcasting. I have a fucking degree in it, and they don't. And it's aggravating to me because none of this is populist. None of these fucking people give a shit what the gaming community actually thinks or believes or anything. They only want to state to them what they should believe, what they should like, what they should not like, and go after and petition and try to drive people out of the industry, which I never in a million years, as someone that grew up in a Rust Belt fucking city, I find absolutely offensive. Totally unprincipled to try to take money out of people's fucking hands who work their asses off to earn it. It's fucking insulting. It's un-American to try to do that kind of shit. And it's these people, you have to understand, this is why it's angering to me. These people self-identify as socialists and Marxists, these feminists, all right? And they go out of their way to try to deprive people of money, try to deprive people of a job, try to defame them until they leave the fucking industry. You know, I grew up in a family that was middle class and fell out of it because of a few things, including the fucking economy taking a shit in 2007. You have to understand, man, that when you come from this position of reasonableness and you have these cocksuckers that are trying to take people's jobs away from them, that they have families, they have people that are dependents that they have to fucking pay for, they have to cover, of how animated I can get on this and how angry people can get on this because of just the hypocrisy and the depravity of these fucking people. All in the name of you know, being more inclusive, right? Right, John? That's what this is about. Being more inclusive, trying to appeal to people that don't even give a shit, that are non-gamers, costing people their fucking job. That's what this is worth. I'm coming from the populist position here. I'm coming from the side that is saying we want to have these games remain as they are, as the development team imagines them, and not cater to the limited imaginations and creativity of talentless, hacky feminists on fucking Tumblr. They don't represent the fucking community. They don't represent anything other than elite of fucking nudniks. People that have nothing else to complain about because they're fucking trust fund kids and they've never experienced anything in their lives in which if someone lost a job or if someone wasn't, you know, other than the principle of it, doesn't that count for shit? The principle of this? Of free expression? Is that not an American ideal? You see this argument as innocent, but it's the actions that are being taken. It's never innocent when you're trying to have people thrown out of the industry, when you're trying to, by not covering their games so they can't sell enough copies to where they can stay in business, or promoting certain games that shouldn't be promoted, that are garbage. Even if they're AAA, they're garbage. And you purposely don't cover the negative portions of it because it's progressive. It has progressive values. You know, you're walking in to a shitstorm, man, and you don't even realize it. How far this goes and how long this has been happening. In the end of this, I gotta say that I'm really sorry if I come across as a jerk in this. I'm really sorry that if my intentions are not to be malicious or to be mean to you or to be dismissive of what you have to say. I'm not trying to say that your opinion in this doesn't matter. I'm not trying to speak from authority in that. But you have to understand is that I understand to some degree what it's fucking like to have a family that is a fucking pink slip away from losing a house, having their fucking lives destroyed. And, you know, people aren't making a lot of money in the games industry these days unless they're fucking suits. And I have very little sympathy for West Coast fucking yuppies and their dipshit trust fund kids and what they have to say about the games that I play. What appeals to them? What do I give a fuck? What appeals to them? They can make their own games. They certainly have the money to do it.